My name is Donna Goldmyne. I'm a senior associate with the law firm of Adekwetun Caxton Martins Agban Shegun, where I practice oil and gas law. But today I will be reviewing a book by Helen Habila called Waiting for an Angel. The book is fabulous. That's if you like deep, like if you really like deep stuff. And it appeals to that side of me because he writes in such a poetic manner. His prose is deep and amazing, and it just flows from one end to the other. He creates an amazing imagery in the reader's mind. But he's talking about serious stuff here. He's writing about a period. Do we all remember Abacha, Babangida? See how I hesitated to even say it. That's how serious it was back then. That's what he's writing about. So we see the story from like 7 different people, but there's a main character. His name is Lumba, and he runs through the entire story. We sort of see things from his life when he was in university. But at the time the book is written, at the time he's writing his story, he's in prison. And he's a political detainee. This was the period where you couldn't say anything against the government. It's not Nigeria of today where the press can speak, they're free, the media is free-ish. It's the time when you tried yourself and you and your father, your mother, everybody went to prison. So Lumba is writing in prison. Now in prison he finds a pen and paper. Remember I said he was a journalist and a poet. So he's writing poems that he remembers to his loves. He's also a poet. So he finds pen and paper in the prison. This is a prison where they have absolutely nothing. He has to make a pillow out of jeans. He stuffs, 2 faded shirts and everything in there. And he remembers his poems, some of them that he had written to his lovers. In the story we hear from his lovers. One is Alice and one is Tarima. Both of them break his heart. It's sad, but let's not get there yet. So he's writing his poems, he's remembering his poems, and then he's writing poems of other people as well, other popular poets in history. Shakespeare, as much as he remembers, he writes the poems. And there's this general in there in the prison. His name is Muftau, but we don't know his name when the book starts. And he's very rough. He finds out that Lumba is writing. And he's a political detainee. He's not supposed to be writing. It could be secret codes. It could be something to the press that will make them look foolish, So they come into the prison and they beat the living daylight out of Lumba. They take him and they put him in solitary confinement. And then all of a sudden, the same man who locks him up comes in because he has read what was supposed to have been contraband, and he reads them and finds out that they are poems. Guess what? Muftau is in love with somebody but has a speech impediment. So guess what? He asks Lumba to write poems for him that he will say were written by himself.
A lot of people say there's no place like home. But at Limelight Hotel and Suites, we have a place that's just like home. Limelight Hotel and Suites is located in the serene and homely countryside of Agoiwoye, Ogun State. Limelight Hotel and Suites offers you nothing but the best in hospitality and facilities that you will not find anywhere. We have 3 bars, an oriental restaurant with a guarantee of uninterrupted power supply, and reliable internet facilities, not forgetting our ATM machines and POS terminals to give you the ease of cashless fun. Come relax and retreat into the calm embrace of Limelight Hotel and Suites. For more information, log on to www.limelighthhotel.com or email us on info@limelighthhotel.com or call us on 0807-097-1904. Limelight Hotel and Suites, taking you to the limelight.
So what I like about this part where he's talking about Alice is the reality. A lot of us in life, you tend to choose, you have to choose sometimes, It may not be the person you really love, it may not be the person you really want, but what do you do? So this is someone who was on the other side, the person who she really loved, and that's Lambo. And Lambo says, and when you looked and hoped and waited and finally realized that I was never going to come, that you had just made a final, irrevocable choice, I do. Did you not break down and cry? And I thought it was beautiful because that's what the person hopes. The person who knows you truly love them. The person who knows it should have been. You know, that one that got away that people talk about. That's how the person feels, but they never say it. So did she break down and cry? We don't know, you know. But that's the beautiful thing about Helen Habila's writing. It just keeps you thinking, keeps you guessing. And when I read this book, I thought this was the year 2002 when he first wrote this book. This was just as Nigeria was awakening into a fragile democracy, as we call it. You know, IBB had gone, Abacha had gone. We were now supposedly free to speak, but not yet sure. And yet this was a voice that was speaking out so clearly. He wasn't even mincing his words in the year 2002. He has names in here like Delegiwa, you know, names that you really should not, you know, you should say it quietly, but he was strong about it. He was firm about it. He was bold about it. In fact, he said it from the beginning. Let's read the first page, one of my favorite lines in the book. He says, "Prison chains, not so much your hands and feet as it does your voice." Clearly, Helen had no intention to be chained. That was amazing. I think Helen Habila is an amazing writer. I think you should read the book. If you're deep, remember I said deep. And if you're a poet, or if you like poetic writing, it flows. It's like a river, and it's soothing because it gives hope. We've come so many years from here. This is 10 years from when he wrote this book. And looking back, I realized that we must never forget where Nigeria is coming from, and more importantly, we must not forget where we're trying to get to.